Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 43 of the Talk is Cheap show. It's great to have you back. Hope you're all well, healthy and COVID-free. Thanks for all your messages and comments and all the messages you received in relation to last week's show, during which we asked, is this Arsenal team the real deal? Most of you agreed. So I'm glad to hear about that. That's great. We've got another great show lined up for you this week. But before we go any further, it is my utmost pleasure to introduce my big friend, my co-host, resident analyst, Mr. Big C Curtis Shaw in the house. What are you saying, bro?
Yeah, all good, man. I love that introduction, by the way, you know, making me feel like a superstar before I've even spoke.
You're our resident superstar. Listen, I can add that to the long list of attributes that you got. Right? I mean, it's all good, man. But anyway, what have you been up to, man? Because we've got a lot to get through this week. Tell the people.
Same old, putting out content on the channel. It was actually my son's birthday yesterday as well, so big up Cruz on his 8th birthday. And
big up Cruz, man. No, for
man. Yeah, so
how old is he?
He's 8 now. 8.
Oh,
yeah, man. They grow quick.
Let people out there know I've seen Cruz play, man. He's a wicked baller.
Yeah, man.
Dad's footsteps, man. Actually, you know what? While we're tell us a little quick bit about Cruz's football exploits, man, because you were telling me, and I was quite impressed.
Yeah, no. So obviously he's been playing like in the academy system. He played against like Man City and Wolves, Villa. Scored against all of them as well. So hopefully, future Arsenal player on the horizon. Hopefully,
sign the team from now.
Sign the team from early, man.
What academy is he at?
Cambridge United at the moment.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Man. That's good. Yeah, we should. Yeah, I've seen him, man. Playing and yeah, man, most impressed. Excellent. Yeah, keep up the good work. Okay, so let's move on then. Let's move on to our news and notes segment of the show, which is just basically taking a quick little look at some of the stories that's been topical over the last week. Yeah. And I guess the first one is the big one that's been sweeping all over the world is the coronavirus situation, man. You know what I mean? Pandemic, not pandemic, as some man are out there saying.
the conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, man, they're abounding, man. You know what I mean? I'm getting all sorts of WhatsApp messages and emails and calls from friends who are saying, "Boy, rare." But you know what? We've got to take it seriously, man. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, some of the arguments that people are putting forward on it do make some sense.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean? But at the same time, man, I think we need to recognize this is very real. So we do need to take it seriously. But yeah, man, after the recent big spike, the government of, well, I wouldn't call it a lockdown, but they brought in some more rigorous regulations. No bars, restaurants and pubs after 10 o'clock.
Because you know it only creeps out at night, don't it? You know, so
people be messaging me that say the big boogeyman coronavirus only comes out after 10 o'clock. But
crazy.
Like I reiterate, we do need to take it seriously, man. Yeah. Or even at the weekend, a couple of footballers catching it, and David Moyes caught it, didn't he? 2 of the West Ham players. I mean, and that was significant because obviously we played West Ham that weekend. None of our players got it. But the implications are there, man. I mean, the ramifications are there. We know now, for example, that the pilot fans thing that they were toying with, the idea of bringing fans into stadiums, that's going to be scrapped for the time being.
Yeah.
So for at least another 6 months. And it could have serious ramifications, certainly for some of the smaller clubs who are faced with financial ruin as a result. So give us your thoughts on that, man.
I mean, obviously, Macclesfield Town have gone out of business now. I've actually played at that ground before as well. A lot of history behind that club. And then I see Leyton Orient. I think 4 of their players tested positive, and you know they
had to abandon their game with Spurs.
Well, they've been kicked out. Spurs got a bye, which I don't understand that, to be honest. But you know, these lower league clubs, man, it's going to hit them hard, and I think you're going to see a lot of positive cases over the next few months, unfortunately. And obviously now fans can't go in the grounds. I think that takes up to about March or April. So you're looking at basically the whole season with no fans in the ground, which is a big shame, man, because, you know, it's not the same without the fans. Let's be honest.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Although I'm kind of getting used to watching games.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would agree with you. It's not the same experience. And the sooner we can get fans back into grounds, the better. And yeah, and like I said, literally, not a day goes by when you don't hear of another high-profile player catching coronavirus. I mean, the latest one was Zlatan.
Well, did you see the way he was talking about it? He was like,
in typical Zlatan fashion, yeah.
There you go. He said COVID's tested positive with Zlatan or something like that. But this guy's a madman. You know?
Yeah, he's got his own inimitable way of dealing with things like that. But I like, you know, he's quite positive about things.
He is.
And I think it's asymptomatic. So I think what happened is he tested positive for the virus, but he's not showing any symptoms at present. So obviously we hope he makes a full and speedy recovery, which Zlatan being Zlatan, I'm sure he will. But okay, so moving on then. So the other story that kind of took my eye this weekend was the taking of the knee situation. Les Ferdinand, QPR big man, he came out and he was saying that basically that it's time for the taking of the knee that they observed before games, that little protocol where the players take the knee. He was saying that basically it's run its course, and he would like to see it discontinued. He was saying that the message is in danger of being lost. So he would prefer to see teams not taking it. Because, of course, last week there was a spate of confusion up and down the country with some teams taking it and some teams not. So what's your thoughts on that, guys?
I do kind of get what Les Ferdinand's saying. I mean, it is important to keep showing the message, but I have to admit myself now, when I see the players take the knee, it doesn't feel as authentic as it felt at the start when I first saw it. You know, I felt like it was a real powerful message then. Now it's almost like they're just being told to do it. Like, I'll just take the knee. I think, you know, we used it at the start to get the message across, but I think now it has to go into something else now. You know, there has to be another aim now. So I kind of agree with what Les Ferdinand was saying. I think, you know, there is a message there. That's the main thing. You're not just doing it for no reason. And now we have to get the message across in a different way and aim for something else. So I have to admit, I agree with Les Ferdinand, what he was saying. I think, you know, rather than one team doing it, one not, let's just say, you know, all of you don't do it or all of you do it now, I think would be the better option.
Well, I'm going to go a bit further than that. I do agree with Les Ferdinand. I think you are in danger of the message being lost. Like you said, and like Les has said and has articulated, at the start, it was a very powerful message that was being sent. We all agree, well, most of us agree with the concept to it. That message has been sent now. I think what's happening now, even if you look at some of the body language of the players are doing it, both white and black, they don't seem to be, it's almost as if it's a chore.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I mean? I see the body language and the sort of limp fist that they put up, and I think to myself, really? You know what I mean? So,
yeah, it's true.
You know, you're in danger of the message being lost. And someone else made a decent point when they were saying that even with regards to the NHS, and you had the clapping Tuesday every Thursday or whatever it was, and then they discontinued that. I think now it's kind of similar with the Black Lives Matter protests and taking of the knee. I think if you carry it on for too much longer, you're going to lose the message, and it becomes, you know, a bit of a chore for the players.
Yeah,
I think it's probably as good a time as any now to discontinue that practice. And like you said, now is the time for that. That message has been put out there. Now we need to act on the concept. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. It's okay. So thanks for that. Moving on then to our first regular feature, our transfer update, which is where we look at some of the transfer dealings and potential transfer activity that Arsenal been linked with. I guess we should start in goal now that Emmy's gone.
Yeah.
Did you see that penalty save he pulled off the other day?
Unfortunately, I did, yeah. I think the less said about that, the better.
I watched that game live, but when I saw that, I was like, right, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's almost like, you know, like, I guess I should be careful how I say this, but you know, in your life, like, you know, you've dated a girl, right? And you split up for whatever reason, and then a few months or a year or whatever, you walk down the street or you see her out and you think, rah, man. You think, wow, you know what I mean? Well, did I do the right thing in splitting up with her, man? Because she looks hot again, you know what I mean? So that's kind of went through my mind when I saw Emmy. But anyway, we digress. We don't want to digress for too long. Alex Rinnison from Dihon.
I mean, we all know him. We've seen him many.
Well, this is why you're our resident expert. Yeah, man, I don't know anything about him, man.
You know what I mean? I can tell you everything.
The views about.
I mean, he's a goalkeeper. He's from Iceland. Listen, man, do you know what it is? I always say in football, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. His CV, I mean, I think he only played 13 games last year. He's got 5 caps for Iceland. 25 years of age. I think he's worked with our goalkeeping coach previously.
Yeah.
So they already knew him. They say he's very good, like ball playing goalkeeper, if you like. So yeah, I mean, they're going to give him a chance. What I'm just intrigued to know is he going to be our second choice goalkeeper? Because we're still being linked with this goalkeeper at Brentford. So I don't know, because, you know, last year we gave one goalkeeper the Europa League and another goalkeeper the Premier League. So is he ready to come in and be our Europa League goalkeeper? It's going to be interesting to see. And, you know, I thought he would have made his debut the other night as well, which was interesting that he didn't. But 1.5 million, I suppose there's very little risk at that price.
Yeah. I must admit, I do feel a bit sorry for Matt Macy of Arsenal. He's been there, isn't he? He must have thought that the way things have transpired over the last week, that finally I might get a chance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Myself. But now that we signed this new guy, it would appear that
it's not looking good for him.
He must be numbered, but club. But anyway, we'll see how this one goes. He's been signed as number 2, so he will get some games.
Yeah.
Interesting to see how he goes. Obviously, we wish him all the best. Okay, we've got to make this segment quite quick because I'm conscious of time. So Lucas Torreira's been in the news this week. And there seems to be some real traction with this move to Atletico Madrid. I mean, previously I was being told that he was in Italy, you know what I mean? So last time I checked, Madrid was in Spain. They've redrawn the boundaries, you know what I mean? So, so it's not quite Italy, but it would appear that he's up for this move. My thoughts is if we... Listen, we all know Torreira's had problems settling. He appears to want out. If he goes to Atletico Madrid and if he can speed up the move in the other way of Thomas Partey, I'll be all for this.
Yeah.
With respect to Torreira as a player. What's your thoughts, bro?
No, I agree, man. I think Torreira's a good player. It hasn't quite worked out for him. He started off really well, but clearly he's not settled off the pitch. And Arteta has never really seemed to favour him since he's come in. I think Atletico would be a great move for him. I think he'd actually do well over there with Simeone and the Spanish game. They got a strong midfield, Atletico as well. And surely we got to be saying, look, you know what? You want Torreira, we'll do you a good deal, but you make sure Partey comes in the other direction. So I think this will help our negotiations with Partey, hopefully soften Madrid's stance a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it could be the best for all parties concerned. So watch that one with interest. Still not much traction on the Osamawar and the Thomas Partey, although, as we said a minute ago with the Thomas Partey, if the move with Torreira goes through, then that could facilitate the Thomas Partey move, which we hope. One thing that did catch my eye over the last day or so, we've been linked with Jorginho, another Chelsea player, man. Keep getting linked with all these Chelsea players, you know what I mean? But, what's your thoughts on that one, bro? I mean, that one come out of left field. I didn't see that coming, but it's here. And it does seem to be a certain amount of validity to it because of the sheer amount of stuff you're hearing on it right now.
Yeah.
I think Mikel Arteta was questioned at his latest press conference, and he didn't exactly do a good job of denying it. So seems like there's some mileage in that. But I must admit, I'm not blown away by that one. How about you?
Nah, not at all, man. When I saw that, I thought, no, don't do that. Imagine, it'd be typical Arsenal. We get linked with like Partey and Aouar for 2 months, and then we signed Jorginho on deadline day.
Yeah.
But, you know, because I think Man City were going to sign Jorginho when Arteta was there with Pep, and then he obviously turned it down and went to Chelsea with Sarri. So there is a little connection there, but I don't want that one to happen, man. I think he's very backwards, sideways passer of the ball.
Yeah.
I don't think he's better than Xhaka, to be honest.
Right.
And I'm not the biggest fan of Xhaka, but Xhaka has improved. Fair play to him.
Yeah. So you've said on many occasions, yeah.
No, granite's improved, but I still don't think he's the answer long term. But Jorginho, man, nah, come on, don't go down that road, please.
So I think it's fairly clear how you are with regards to that one. Okay, then. So the other thing I guess we should mention is that there was talk in the week that Matteo Guendouzi had handed in a transfer request. Now we're going to talk about him later in the main topic of our show, so we'll keep your powder dry for that one. But I just thought I'd mention that. We'll discuss Guendouzi later on. Okay, then. So moving on to one of our regular segments of the show. Then it's the game reviews. We had 2 games since the last show. The first one was in the Premier League at home to West Ham. Got a win there, although some people say it's slightly fortunate. Curtis, what are you saying, bro? I mean, I thought the performance was fairly mediocre, to be honest. And I did warn a lot of people, who, including yourself, I think, people who were predicting 3-0 and this and that. I was saying, listen, man, this is going to be West Ham are not going to be as bad against us as they were in that first game against Newcastle. I'm expecting them to come and put in a performance. And so they did. I thought they played well, actually.
Very well.
And I thought that, I mean, some people went a bit too far in saying that they outplayed us. I'm not sure if they did that. Look at the stats of the game. The 2 teams posted very similar stats. But I would say is that I thought that West Ham were perhaps unfortunate to lose the game. You know what I mean? A draw might even have been a fair result, but we got the win. And I think the best thing you can say about that is that it's a sign of a good team. You're not playing that well and can still pull off the win. So, what's your thoughts on that game, bro?
I mean, it's one of them games that you won't be going back and watching the highlights of it anytime soon. You know, it was a poor spectacle, but you know, 3 points all that matters. I have to say that I thought Arteta set us up the wrong way. I didn't see any reason to play with a back 3 against West Ham at home. 3 at the back tends to be a counter-attacking formation. We used it against the bigger teams, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool. But West Ham put 10 players behind the ball a lot of the time. And I felt like we got overrun in midfield. I think we were struggling. Their goal, we was wide open. Antonio roughed us up as he does a lot of the time. You know, got a goal again.
He won't be the first team he's done that.
No, he's a handful. He's difficult to deal with, man. Thought Leno was a little bit shaky from crosses. I think that is one of his weaknesses. He's a great shot stopper, no doubt about it. But that's one thing that Emi was very good at that Leno needs to improve on. Right. I suppose the positive, you know, Lacazette 2 in 2. Eddie gets another goal. You know, he's improving. I thought Gabriel was excellent. He was actually really up for the physical battle with Antonio. I really liked his performance. I thought Ceballos improved second half as well. And, you know, what I do like about this team under Arteta is they do seem to believe right up until the end of the game, you know, because I'm sitting there with 70-odd minutes gone thinking, oh, no, this is a draw. We might even, you know, West Ham could have nicked it, but to score in the 80-odd minute, you know, they look like they believe right until the end that they can win it. And that is credit to Arteta and, you know, improving the mentality of the club. So important 3 points. You saw the way he celebrated afterwards. Man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Believed, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to get that win. I mean, it was our first home game of the season. We had the win against Fulham. We've been on a good run of form recently. So, yeah, we needed that win. So, yeah, that was good. And then moving on then to the Carabao Cup game, an away assignment against Leicester. On paper, a very difficult game, given that we hadn't won Leicester in a few years. So to go there and get a result, keep the clean sheet, win 2-0, I thought that was a pretty good game, pretty good result, pretty good win. What do you say?
No, I was impressed with this. Do you know what? I was surprised that Leicester, I think Leicester changed the whole 11 or 10 out of the 11. I thought Brendan Rodgers might have gone for it, considering, he hasn't really won. I don't think he's won a trophy apart from at Celtic. I don't think he won anything at Liverpool or at Leicester. But having said that, I thought we dealt with it well. We defended better. Leno made a very good save in this game, actually, an important save. Obviously, the own goal. Pepe, there was a lot of people talking about his performance, although I felt he improved towards the end of the game. I think he's got I think Arteta's got to be careful how he manages Pepe, because he had a lot of confidence at the end of the season. He seems seems a little bit down in the dumps at the moment. So he needs to really lift his spirits. And Eddie with another goal, man. So a good win in the cup. Of course, there was a few people we thought might have been in the squad that weren't, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I thought it was a good win. As you said, clean sheet as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I pretty much agree with everything you said there. And of course, the important thing was that they got the win. They're into the next round. So yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Okay, moving on again then. Ops of the week.
Yeah.
Couple of big games coming up, man. The first one, Liverpool in the league. What's your thoughts there, bro? Do you think we can finally lay some hoodoos to rest, go there and actually win a game in the league?
Do you know what? What I will say, over the past few years, we've had a bad record at Anfield. We've had some heavy defeats there. I mean, we beat them at the end of the season in the league, and we beat them in Community Shield, albeit on penalties. Go up there with some belief. I just want to see a change in attitude when we go up there. I'm not putting like loads of pressure on the team in my head. I'm just thinking, you know what? Go up there and believe that you can beat them. Liverpool are a great team. We all know that. They're the best team in the country right now. But they're not robots. They're beatable. We saw Watford beat them last season. We beat them. They lost to Man City. They lost to Atletico in the Champions League. They're not unbeatable. There's just a certain way of playing against them. And I want to see us go there and, be defensively stable, difficult to break down. When we get the chance to hit them on the break, because their fullbacks are very attacking, Robertson and Trent. They leave gaps there that you can exploit. So I just want to see a really positive attitude and belief in the team that they can win. So, yeah, if we're ever going to win, we've got a chance.
Yeah, man. Especially, I know with interest you were talking about how they can sometimes leave themselves exposed at the back. And I watched their first game of this season against Leeds, and they got caught out a few times, man, and they got punished.
Yeah.
And at one point, it looked like Leeds were at least good for a point in that game. Okay, they didn't quite manage to get that, but they did expose Liverpool on a few occasions in that game. And I think that will give Mikel Arteta and the boys some encouragement there, for sure. You know what I mean? They conceded 3 goals against Leeds. I mean, listen, Leeds are a decent team, because I remember we went to a game like World Cup, man, and they impressed me. So, we shouldn't say, it was only Leeds. Leeds are a good team. But listen, if Leeds can do that, with the firepower that we got up front, we should be able to do something like that as well. So, yeah, I'm actually quite confident, man. I'm starting to believe in this new project that Arteta's putting together. We said a couple of weeks ago on the show that we're moving in the right direction. We then said last week that this team is a real deal. Well, it's games like this are going to prove us right if we are the real deal. And based on what I've seen so far, man, I'm backing us to do well.
Yeah.
What sort of team do you think you should go with?
See, I think he will play 3 at the back this time, which I think it can work in this game, because you are trying to play counter-attack. I think we expect Liverpool to dominate possession at home. They're going to be on the front foot. They've just signed 2 new players in Jota and Thiago. Thiago, I think, is an exceptional player. So they're going to be up for it. It's about, I think what we've got to do, we've got to punish them when we get the opportunity. I remember we played them last year at Anfield, and we lost 3-1, but we had good chances in the first half. We didn't take them. You've got to score when you get them opportunities. So I think it will be a similar team to the team we've seen in the first couple of league games, back 3. Obviously, we hope Tierney's fit, because you've seen with Tierney to Kolasinac, there's a big difference in quality there. So
yeah, that was good last week, actually.
Very big.
That was very evident, almost from the first minute. You know what I mean? So, mean, I rated Tierney even before that, but it's one of them things where you rate him even higher after.
Yeah,
wow.
You do.
I mean,
that's it.
But on that defensive theme, then I think, I mean, I know you raised a point about it's very important that we take our chances, but almost as important, if not more, for me, is that we've got to keep our defensive shape, and the concentration levels have got to be high, because Liverpool are one of those teams, man. They can punish you, man, with the quality of the forwards that they've got. And they're attacking wing backs and stuff like that, which means that they're a very aggressive, high intensity attacking team, and you can't afford to be making mistakes. Your shape has got to be right. The players have got to be on point. They've got to be talking to each other, got to be working together as a unit. So I would say that the defensive element of our team is probably going to be more important than the attacking, because we will get chances in this game. I'm sure of that, because I've watched Liverpool play, and they can be open at times. And like you said earlier, they do leave themselves open because they're so committed to attacking themselves. So we will get chances. I'm just worried that we need to shore up at the back. Now, Gabriel, as you said earlier, has made an excellent start. I don't know who he's going to play alongside him. Who do you think it'll be?
I mean,
David Luiz, or will he go?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, because I think Luiz is back now. So maybe goes Luiz, Gabriel, maybe Holding. I don't know. But then Tierney, so he's got options. Even Saliba, you know what? I don't know what's happening with him. I was really surprised he didn't start the other night as well. He was on the bench again.
I think he's carrying a bit of a knock.
Is he?
So working him into full fitness.
Yeah, because I'd like to see him play. I mean, talking about Gabriel,
I don't think he'll feature against.
No, I don't think he'll play. Yeah. I mean, Gabriel, he's played brilliant every time I've watched him so far, but this will be a real test for him. You know what I mean? Liverpool's front three is like no other in the league. So if he passes this test, then you're thinking we've got a real top player on our hands here. So
it's important to make a great start, or a sound, solid start. No silly mistakes.
Yeah,
if he does play, I don't want any of these little impulsive things that he's capable of doing. Everyone's got to be concentrated and focused. Yeah. And if he plays, you would imagine that he should be the one speaking to everybody on that back line, calming them down, organising them, making sure people are picking up their men. You know what I mean? Make sure that the runs are being tracked. You know what I mean? Because I feel if you're going to get a result at Liverpool, man, your defence has got to be on point.
Has to.
The high-scoring game thing, I don't think is going to work for us.
No.
If we're going to win, it's going to be a 2-1 or something like that. So we need to be on point. So yeah, I'm going to push you for a prediction, man. What's your thoughts?
Do you know what? We're gonna need to play well, and we need Liverpool to kind of drop their level a little bit. I'll go for 1-1.
Oh, you're going for a draw. Right.
I'll go for a draw. Yeah.
You know what, Ron? I'm going to stick my neck out and say it with my chest, man. I think we're going to get a result in this game, 2-1.
We're going to do this.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you know why I say that? I'm not just saying that to just, put that out there. I actually do believe, man, that we do it, because I'm very impressed with our defensive solidity at the moment. Okay, last week wasn't a great performance. And yes, okay, we didn't keep the clean sheet because obviously Mikel Antonio scored. But of recent, I've been very impressed with the defensive solidity of the team. And I think it's clear that Arteta's been doing a lot of work in that in training. And I don't think it's just about the physical aspects of defending. I think it's mentally as well. And I think we're showing a lot more mental strength. And I think that a game like this is going to show where we are, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping that all those things that we're seeing up to now will come to fruition in this game. And I do think that we're capable of scoring twice with the forward line that we have.
I tell you what, I think in terms of where we are, I still think we're some way behind Liverpool. I think Arteta's almost getting the most out of what he's got at the moment. I think the board need to back him to get him onto that next level. The only reason I'm not predicting a win is you know, I still think that midfield is weak. You know, when I look at that Liverpool team, you can't pick out many weaknesses in that team. And if it is a weakness, it's only somebody slightly lower than the rest of them. Whereas with Arsenal, I look at certain players and I think if you was playing against Arsenal, you would target such and such players in our team. And that's the only reason that I don't fully believe we'll go to Anfield and beat them at the moment. I mean, you never know. If we get a bit of luck, they get a red card or something happens, we get an early penalty maybe. But I just think we're going to need a lot to happen for us to beat them at Anfield. But, you know, always hopeful.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we beat them in the league earlier in the year. It would have been last season, but we won that. And then we had the Community Shield win over them. Okay, we didn't actually beat them in normal time, but we came out successful in that. So there's no reason to fear. We should go there and play, but at the same time not be too rash. I think if you look at some of the games that we played Liverpool previously, especially away from home, we've gone there and we've conceded goals, early goals.
Yeah.
That's put us on the back foot from which we've not been able to recover from. But if we go there with a plan and we do our best to execute that plan as best as possible, and like I said, keep our shape, keep our concentration levels high, and then we can rely on our forwards to do the job at the other end. And I think they will get chances. And I think the likes of Aubameyang, Lacazette, who's in great form, even Eddie coming off the bench, I think we've got goals in us. And from what I saw of them against Leeds, I have to say, they got opened up quite regularly, man. And again, it's the way that Klopp likes to play. They're a very attacking-centric team. So we can counter off that. We got the players who can do damage. I would hope that Pepe gets a game, or if not, a lot more involvement in this game than he has of recent in league games. You think he'll go with Willian again, or do you think Pepe might?
No, I think he'll play Willian again. I just think against Liverpool, because you'll need a lot of work from the wingers. The fact Pepe played in the week as well, I can't see Pepe starting. I think he'll come off the bench, which is a shame. But I suppose in a game like this, you do need you do need quality on the bench, you know. Bringing Pepe on for 20, 30 minutes, he could be a game changer for us. Although, you know, going through the season, he's not somebody that I want to see on the bench. So, but for this game, you know, I think he can make a big impact off the bench.
Okay, well, thanks. Well, I'm really looking forward to the game. I'm sure you are too. And we'll have our live stream where we'll be watching. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. Like I said, I'm predicting a 2-1 win. Curtis is going for a draw. Viewers out there, let us know what you think. It's our first big test. Can we come through it with flying colours? Right, okay, so moving on then. Our main topic of this week's show. Right, so I've been observing over the past week or two, as I'm sure you have, Curtis, the situation with regards to one or two players in the team who have not featured at all, being our friend Mesut Ozil and Matteo Guendouzi. And it's beginning to look, to all intents and purposes, that both of those guys are being frozen out for whatever reason. And I just wondered what you thought about that, man. A, do you think they are being frozen out? And if so, is it justifiable? Is the manager justified? Or is it even the manager? I mean, there's been a lot of talk swirling around that the orders not to play them may have come from higher up. But it is interesting me, man, because both of these guys are just not featured. And if you look at our team as well, you might make the case, as many people are doing, that one area of the picture where we are lacking is that creative midfielder, of which Ozil would normally be expected to fulfill that role with aplomb. And he's not played, not as in not played, he's not figured at all. In fact, what really got me thinking, as I'm sure it did you as well, is when you got the team sheet for the Carabao Cup game, and Ozil wasn't even in the squad. Now, surely that suggests to me that he's being frozen out. So, Curtis, man.
I mean,
start cooking. What do you say?
Yeah. I mean, in terms of Guendouzi and Ozil, I think the two situations are different. I think Guendouzi is being frozen out because Arteta gave him a chance, and clearly there's been disciplinary issues, and he feels like, you know, I don't want to keep him around the club. So I think his situation is different. with Mesut Ozil, you know, number one, he was his teammate.
Right, to pick you up on the Guendouzi, I just want to expand on that a little bit. So you're saying disciplinary issues. What disciplinary issues do you think, or do you know that he's that's caused him to be just cut out like this, man? I mean, you know, what has he done that's so horrible for him not to be included at all?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was this incident in Dubai when they were warm weather training, and apparently there was a big bust up between Guendouzi and Arteta, and apparently something happened in training. Then we had the incident with Mopé, which, you know, I don't think was a huge incident. In fact, I actually like the fact that Guendouzi tried to defend Leno. You know, he was trying to defend his teammate.
I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate here, right? But I do actually believe in a little bit of this as well. So I asked you what his offences were that's caused him to be apparently just cut out like that. And you've mentioned a couple of things there. But to use an American term, I would describe those as misdemeanors, not felony.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I'm sure players have done a lot worse.
Yeah.
And they've eventually found themselves back in the manager's way of thinking. So why is Guendouzi just seemingly being cut like this?
I mean, I suppose the thing is we don't know or hear everything, do we? So, you know, maybe there's more. If you're Arteta, this is your first managerial job. I mean, Arteta said in an interview, this has been one of the hardest spells of his life in terms of how stressful it's been and how difficult, you know, the pandemic and trying to turn Arsenal around. It's a very big job for a guy who's never managed. And he's probably looking at it going, you know, I've got a 21-year-old midfielder here who's got talent, but the guy is petulant. He's constantly giving me little problems that just don't seem to go away. And he's probably thinking, I don't need it. I've got a lot more to concentrate on. At the end of the day, Guendouzi is a decent player. He's not a world beater. You know, he might put up with that if he was an unbelievable talent, but he's probably thinking, you're a decent player, but I don't need all this hassle. I'd rather just move you on and concentrate on players who are focusing the way I want them to. So I kind of understand it, why he's acting like that. With the Ozil,
what was interesting about the Guendouzi? I mean, recently we had an international break.
Yeah.
I know that Guendouzi represented France under 21 level. Apparently, he played well as well. And then after the game, in the immediate aftermath of that game, he tweeted on social media that, you know, he's congratulating the rest of his French boys on the win. And then I remember quite clearly he said something like, time to get back to work. And then he hashtagged Arsenal, and everyone was like looking at him thinking, oh, that's encouraging.
Yeah.
He obviously feels part of things going forward. And then about a week later, he's still not involved. And then we hear that he's handed in a transfer request. So obviously that's gone left again. So you do wonder. It does seem like it's personal with him. And
yeah, it does. It does. It seems like he's being given mixed signals, man. It was like, okay, forget about it. Work your way back into contention. Then it's like, yeah, there's the squad. Your name's not even on the list. So clearly they're trying to raise money for new signings. And I think Guendouzi's right at the front of that queue somewhere, man.
Yeah.
But then in terms of
you, I'd like to see him given the opportunity to try and redeem himself, man. And I would have thought that the Carabao Cup would have offered him that chance.
Yeah.
So I must say I was surprised when, okay, even if he doesn't start, you would expect to see him in the squad.
Involved, yeah.
But he wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? It shows that the manager's got a ruthless streak to him, man. And he's not going to make big decisions.
Yeah.
Which leads us nicely onto Ozil.
Yeah. This one is a lot different, a lot more complicated because, first of all, Arteta is friends with him. He said when he came into the club how highly he rates Mesut Ozil. And he was actually playing him before the lockdown. So how come he went from playing and you're bigging this guy up to he can't even get on the bench in the Carabao Cup? Now, as we were saying off air, has this got to do with the fact that Ozil refused a pay cut? Because they reckon it was him, Socrates and Martinelli. Now, Socrates has been binned. He hasn't. I don't think he's even been on the bench either. And, of course, Ozil and Martinelli's injured. So maybe, like you said, the people above Arteta are saying, look, man, you gotta get this guy out the door. We're not all pulling in the same direction. He's on a huge wage. We could do with that money on other players, and the only way to force him out is to leave him out, which is a little bit. If it is coming from above Arteta, I don't really like that. I think it should be Arteta's decision what happens. If he feels there's a way that Ozil could play a part, then they shouldn't really be dictating whether he should be playing or not because he refused a pay cut. You know, he had his reasons, he gave them. My issue more with Ozil is...
Okay, so that would be extremely troubling to me to see that they've treated not just Ozil, any player like that. I mean, in any walk of life, in any job, you wouldn't expect employees to get treated like that, you know?
No, and I don't like that, if that is the truth.
I mean, there are other rumours that are abounding as well about that are being put forward. Another one of which is that, as we know, Mesut Ozil in the past has been outspoken about what he perceives, and many, to be fair, as the unfair treatment of Muslims in China.
Yeah.
Ozil, to his credit, in a Muslim himself, he's chose to spoke out for his people. But it would appear it didn't go down too well within some of the hierarchy at Arsenal because of Arsenal have a lot of business interests in China. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I think what I was being told was his comments did not go down well at all with the Arsenal hierarchy and people in China. In fact, I think it led to when he made his comments initially. I think Arsenal's game for that weekend
was removed.
Yeah. So there was ramifications coming out of that. So some people are suggesting that might also have something to do.
I have to say on that subject, I mean, I don't want to go too much into it, but I kind of back Ozil on that because I look at, you know, there's obviously real issues over there in the Muslim community in China and the treatment of people over there. He spoke up on it. He's got strong beliefs on it. And I don't blame him for doing that. Remember what Hector Bellerin tweeted about Boris Johnson? You know, you know what I mean? And I didn't hear Arsenal complaining about that. So, nah, I don't. I think the club should have really looked into that situation because, you know, you would like to have seen them.
Maybe they did inside China.
Oh, yeah, exactly. They didn't really show him the support. Yeah,
you know, so
it's a tricky one. But, yeah, with the Ozil thing, man, I just think all these, you know, we don't really know the reason why. If it was a purely footballing decision and Arteta felt like, you know what, with the system, with the way I want to play, with the wages on, it's best we try and move him on, then I think that's fine. But if it's something to do with a wage cut or what he said about China, then I think, you know, that's quite disappointing to me from the club for taking that stance.
But I'll tell you what, I mean, you said a couple of words there that I was going to use, so you preempted my strike. But you were talking about, was it purely a footballing decision? Listen, we've all said what we've said about Ozil in the past. His attitude has been criticised, quite rightly, in my opinion, because I've been one of them. I've said that, listen, man, he doesn't appear to be putting it in the way he should be. Now, that could be a perception of his body language. He is a very laid-back type of guy. But the one thing that all the naysayers would have to admit is that he does have ability.
Oh, of course.
Some of the physical prowess has definitely gone, right, as he's advancing in years. But still has the ability. And like you said, it's not like we're blessed with creative midfielders. Far from. Yeah. So you would have thought that a guy like Ozil, I mean, come on, he can't even get on the bench for a Carabao Cup game.
Yeah.
I'm not belittling the Carabao Cup when I say that. I'm just saying in terms of our priorities, the Carabao Cup is going to be lesser than the Premier
competitions,
League and even the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So you're telling me a guy of Mesut Ozil's experience and talent and physical gifts on the ball, you're telling me he can't make the matchday squad for a Carabao Cup? So that's what I'm saying. It just starts to give you that feeling that the decision to leave him out is not related to football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's right. Because, and you know, to me, it doesn't look like Ozil's leaving. You know, I think the window closes in less than 2 weeks. Yeah. So What do you do when the window closes? He's not leaving, but he hasn't played no football, so he's not match fit. Arsenal are going to have to find a way to integrate Mesut Ozil back in the squad, whether he's a regular in the team every week or not. We've seen like the West Ham game, like the Brighton game, like the Aston Villa game last season as well. These teams who put 10 men behind the ball, we struggle to unlock them. We haven't really got, as you say, quality creative players. Ozil would be useful in them games. He can pick out a pass. He's got intelligent movement. I don't think he should play every week necessarily, but he should be involved if you can't sell him, which clearly we can't. So they're going to have a decision to make when the window closes, because I don't see Mesut Ozil leaving in the next 2 weeks. So,
well, he said, hasn't he? He said he's not going to be forced out the club. So
yeah,
that's got something to do with
possibly
being treated at the moment.
Yeah, possibly. I've seen this happen in football before. You know, the club or the manager decide they don't want the player. The player's saying, I'm not going nowhere. They just make it as difficult as possible for you to be at that club where you get to breaking point and say, just get me out. Get me on loan. Get me anywhere away from here. But Ozil doesn't seem too bothered, man. You know?
To be fair to Ozil, and listen, you can't really blame the man, really, can you?
No.
Despite what I know you've been very critical of him. I know you've even gone as far as to say things that he exhibits the wrong attitude. He doesn't give you that impression that he's hungry enough to play. But I want to, again, play a bit of devil's advocate here. If you was in Ozil's position, right, and you had that type of contract in place, why would you, like, be forced out when you wouldn't. The contract is very favourable terms in your way? Why would you say, you know what, I'm just going to up and leave? No. Received an offer from elsewhere that was really attractive to you.
I'll tell you one thing, right?
Herein lies the problem, you see, because he's an asset to the club.
Yeah.
So you would have thought that he should be getting some game time so that if Arsenal do attract a potential buyer or even a loanee, then they can, enter into that deal. But if he's not playing at all, you're out of sight, out of mind, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I mean, the thing is, football clubs, people always talk about loyalty in football. Football clubs are the most cutthroat people in the game. Like, it's not the players, it's the clubs. I'm telling you, as soon as they've had enough of you, they'll just bin you straight away.
Well, in Barcelona, with I saw a statement by Lionel Messi where he was
about
talking
Suarez.
Yeah. And look, Suarez is one of the world's great players, despite what you think about him as a person. He is a great player. Everyone would have to that. And again, Barcelona have been utterly ruthless. They want him out. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. So
the past means nothing to them anymore. He's gone. That's it.
Yeah.
So when you look at things like that, you can't really blame Ozil as such.
I tell you what my issue is with Ozil. This is my problem. Clearly, he's happy at Arsenal. He's settled in London. He wants to be there. That's fine. What I don't understand from a footballing point of view, if you're not playing at Arsenal and there's no sign of you playing, Emery tried to bin him, but the fans went against Emery, which I thought was crazy at the time. Like, how you can support one player over a manager. Yeah. Now Arteta's leaving him out, whether that's his choice or not, right? He's being left out. If I was Mesut Ozil, I'd be knocking on the door going, I want to go on loan. I want to go and play football. You're still going to get your wages. Your 350 grand's there. You're getting that. But I would want to play football somewhere else if I'm not going to, because he's being embarrassed at Arsenal right now. Let's be honest. Mesut Ozil is a big superstar, a World Cup winner. You can't get in the Carabao Cup squad on the bench. That is embarrassing for a guy of your level and your size in football. If those things were happening to me, I'd be saying, yo, man, I've got to go and play football. Even if I go on loan till January somewhere, I would want to play football. And that's where I question Ozil and say, you don't seem desperate to play to me. You seem like you're happy to just train and have the weekend off and pick up your wages. So I'm playing Fortnite,
he's back picking up those wages, 350 grand.
He's carrying them out of London Calling.
No, but the other thing as well is that if you look at Ozil, it's not like some players, he's already achieved everything in the game. Everything there is to win, he's won it pretty much.
He's had a great career, yeah.
So he's probably looking at it and saying, look, I can afford the position that I am financially and where I am at my life, and in my private life, he's just had baby and stuff like that. I can afford to sit this next year out.
Yeah.
Just make sure I don't get injured. I mean, you know, didn't Gareth Bale do a similar type thing at Real Madrid?
Yeah.
He was back at Tottenham.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, but
ages are similar, aren't they?
Yeah.
Gareth Bale's 31. Ozil must be around that. Yeah. So,
our age, yeah.
You know.
But even in the end, Bale's got to the point. He even said in his interview, like, I tried to sit it out for 1 year and hope things change, but they didn't. Zidane weren't interested. And at the end of the year, he said, look, man, I've got to leave. And even last year, he tried to go to China.
Yeah.
So he clearly wasn't happy not playing football. Whereas Ozil just seems to be like, yeah, I'll see out the contract. I'll go on the last day of the contract. So, but yeah, the soap opera continues, man. I'm sure he'll be here till the end of that contract.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't quite know what to make of it. What I would say is, I would like to see both of these guys given a chance to redeem themselves, man. And then us fans, we can make a decision based on what we see and say, well, look, you know, he is done or he's not done. Or in terms of Guendouzi, does he have a future or not? You know what I mean? Because the Guendouzi one surprised me as well, because it wasn't that long ago he was being lauded as a future, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I remember in particular when Emery was manager and we went on that run and he was in fine form. A lot of people were saying, you know, this is the next wave.
Yeah.
Like him, you know what I mean? So, and then here we are, fast forward a year later, or not even a year. The man can't get in the Carabao Cup score away, Leicester away. So, strange one, man. And lots of the fans, I get people messaging me, asking me, I see when Robbie does his videos and I'm responding to some of the comments, we're getting lots of comments in saying, you know, do you guys know what's happening? Is it because of what he said about China? Is it because he didn't take a pay cut? Is it personal between our there's so many theories thrown out there that you don't know which one, but it's a side plot, man. It's a bit of a mini opera going on. So
man.
But
free Ozil, man. Free Ozil.
Free Ozil indeed, man. You know what I mean? And Guendouzi, you'd probably say free Matteo, but you know what? We like to make the show interactive, so I'd love for the people watching the show out there to let us know what they think. I think that would be, we can do a poll off that. Do you think that the guys are being forced out, Ozil and Guendouzi, and B, is it justifiable? And C, what do you think the reason or reasons are? I'd love to know what you guys think, because I don't know. I'm none the wiser. But it is something that is very topical at the moment amongst Arsenal fans. But thanks for your thoughts on that, Curtis. And we're actually closing the show now. So this is the point where I invite you to tell people where they can find you, man, on social media and stuff.
Yeah, man, check out the channel, Curtis Shaw TV, putting out lots of content on there daily at the moment during the transfer window. And obviously, thanks for supporting the show. And we'll be back next week. Hopefully, we'll have beaten Liverpool.
Yeah, well, we've got a couple of games coming up against Liverpool in the league and in the cup. So we're hoping that we can get a couple of wins there, or at least one. And if I get one, I'll take the one in the league, obviously. But yeah, it's going to be a really exciting week. Thanks to all the people out there for continuing to watch the show and support the show. We really appreciate that. Keep yourselves well, healthy, observe the government regulations. And yeah, man, keep supporting the show, keep messaging us. Please respond to the poll I'm trying to get going on the Ozil and Guendouzi thing. Do you think they're being forced out? Is it justifiable? And what do you think are the reasons for that? And until then, we look forward to having you next week. Take care.
It's Robbie here from AFTV. Don't forget to check out AFTV on Flick for all the latest transfer rumours, for all the information on Arsenal, for all the information on AFTV. You can check me there for Q&As on a regular basis. The link is in the description. It is free to download. Download it right now.